The Fat Controller sat in his office listening to the noise outside. The passengers were angry. The station master came in, said the Fat Controller. He found Gordon, James and Henry looking very cross. Said Gordon, said the Fat Controller, and he hurried away to find Edward. He thought sadly. Edward was shunting, said the Fat Controller. So Edward found coaches for the 3 engines, and that day the trains ran as usual. But next morning, Edward looked unhappy. Gordon came clanking past, hissing rudely. Said the Fat Controller, answered Edward. He went to a workshop and they showed him all sorts of engines. At last, he saw a smart little green engine with 4 wheels. He thought, said Percy, and the Fat Controller brought him back to the yard. He called. Percy soon learned what he had to do, and they had a happy afternoon. Then Henry came by, hissing as usual. Went Percy. Henry jumped and ran back to the shed, laughed Edward, said Percy. Next morning, Thomas arrived. He said to Edward, replied Edward. Snorted Thomas, answered Percy. Edward and Thomas worked the main line, greeting each other as they passed by. Percy puffed along the branch line. Thomas was anxious about Annie and Clarabelle, but both driver and guard promised to take care of them. There were fewer trains, but the passengers didn't mind. They knew that the 3 other engines were having a lesson. Gordon, James and Henry were cold, lonely and miserable. They wished now they hadn't been so silly.